Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and remember, context is everything. Media Network founder and CEO John Michael is reading a self-help book. This is Dissolving the Ego and Realizing the Self, and this is the final chapter of this book and the final reading of this book, because this final chapter has been lengthy. So let's carry on. We're in the Realizing the Self portion of this book. We're in the Enlightenment portion of this section, and we're at the conclusion. The goal of society in general is to succeed in the world, whereas the goal of enlightenment is to transcend beyond it. It is helpful to remember that neither truth nor enlightenment is something to be found, sought, acquired, gained, or possessed. That which is the infinite presence is always present, and its realization occurs of itself when the obstacles of that realization are removed. It is therefore not necessary to study the truth, but only to let go of that which is fallacious. Moving away the clouds does not cause the sun to shine, but merely reveals that which is hidden all along. Spiritual work, therefore, is primarily a letting go of that which is presumably known for that which is unknown, with the encouragement that the effort is made, then well rewarded from others who have realized the infinite presence. To best serve the world, seek enlightenment and transcend illusions rather than contribute to them. Investigation into the nature of consciousness leads directly to the very source of illumination. Of the light of consciousness is the condition of enlightenment. Investigation into the nature of consciousness leads directly to the very source of illumination. For the light of consciousness is the condition of enlightenment. By its light, the knower and the known are united in a realization of the self as God, immanent. Consciousness does not recognize separation, which is a limitation of perception. The enlightened state is a oneness in which there is no division into parts. Such division is only apparent from a localized perception. It is only an accident of point of view. The infinite ultimate potentiality is the actuality of existence. All that is therefore innately divine, or it could not exist at all. The absolute expression of divinity is subjectivity. If I exist, then God is. Enlightenment is the verification that all existence is not only the result of creation, but existence itself is not different from the Creator. The created and the Creator are one and the same. If you've made it this far, please consider following this page, and please consider following this page, my secondary page, which is also me talking. Context is everything. Media Network founder and CEO John Michael says, yes. Through spiritual alignment, intention, and devotion, aided by meditation, contemplation, authenticated instruction and truth, and assorted by the energy field of an advanced teacher, great leaps of consciousness can occur unexpectedly. Thus, it is important to know of these leaps well in advance. As confirmed by consciousness research, the chance of becoming enlightened all are now more than 1,000 times greater than any time in the past, which means that reaching the level of unconditional love is very attainable and practical as a goal. From the level of unconditional love, the pathways increasingly joyful. There occurs infinite silent stillness and peace, and progressions from there is up to the will of God, karma, and the potentialized knowingness nascent within the spiritual aura. Truth is recognized. It presents itself to a field of awareness that has been prepared in order to allow the presentation to reveal itself. Truth and enlightenment are not acquired or achieved. They are states of conditions that present themselves when the conditions are appropriate and obstacles are removed. All avenues of questioning lead to the same ultimate answer. The discovery that nothing is hidden and truth stands everywhere reveals the key to enlightenment about the simplest practical affairs and the destiny of mankind. In the process of examining our everyday lives, we can find that all our fears have been based on falsehood. The displacement of the false by the true is the essence of healing of all things visible and invisible. And always a final question will eventually arise for every questioner of the biggest questions of all. Who am I? You have to let go of illusions that you know who you are. The divine state there is nothing to know about because you are it. That is a difficult leap to make, but suddenly it occurs of its own accord, and then one is free forever. Uncertainty is replaced by endless delight. Human life is then an endless comedy. You are not a who, but a what. One reason for seemingly endless delays on the way to enlightenment is doubt, which should be surrendered as a resistance. It is important to know that it is actually extremely rare for a human to be committed to a spiritual truth to the degree of seriously seeking enlightenment, and those who do make the commitment do so because they are actually destined for enlightenment. Who am I? Who is asking? You find out who is asking, and that answers the whole question. It's not who, but a what. At the last doorway to enlightenment stands the ego's final challenge, which is the central core belief that it is the source and locus of not only identity but also of life itself. At that point, one is all alone and shorn of all protection and comforting props, belief systems, or even memory. There is solely available within one's aura a high-frequency vibration of the consciousness of the enlightened teacher, with its encoded knowingness. The last step is intuited as a finality from which no turning back is possible, and thus there is consternation of the absoluteness of the finality. Then arises the knowing to walk straight ahead no matter what, for all fear is illusion, as this last step is taken by the spiritual will. Death is experienced, but the fierce anguish lasts for only a few moments. The death of the ego is only actual death that one can possibly experience, in contrast with the previous deaths of leaving the body were relatively trivial. The experience of death is terminated by awe and the revelation of the ultimate reality. And then even the awe disappears and the self transcends in duality of existence versus non-existence, allness versus nothingness, and omnipresence versus void. In the end, to the true devotee, the pursuit of spiritual reality supersedes all other considerations. The commitment to become enlightened involves the decision, no matter what. The serious student needs to know well in advance that the very last doorway, the final doorway, he will or she will be confronted by willingness to surrender life itself, or at least that which has been believed since beginning of evolution to be the very core of life itself. This final gateway is very rarely passed, and one reason is the lack of preparation, the lack of certainty, and a final doubt of major magnitude. At the final moment, the last vestiges of doubt and existential fear may surface from the depths. At that point, faith in the teachings of the masters that direct us to walk straight ahead no matter what arise and proves to be correct, for the glory of God awaits on the other side of the last great barrier. That's it. That's the whole book. God bless. I hope you have a lovely day. And if you've made it this far, please subscribe. Context is Everything Media Network, founder and CEO, John Michael. Have a good day.